What is going on, everyone? Thanks for stopping by to watch another episode here at Invest with All I See Is W. Today, in the overall stock market, we've seen just bullish signals. In the month of February, we saw a downward trajectory in the prior weeks. However, we're beginning to see bullish signals returning, right? A lot of investors have been fearful, thinking that there's a potential recession, although we can't really exclude that possibility with inflation still being one of the major concerns. And the Federal Reserve attempting to try to get the inflation down to about 2%. Now, are we going to have a hard or soft landing? We don't know yet, right? However, what goes down eventually goes back up, and we're beginning to see that year-to-date bullish trajectory having it continually build up, with January being an excellent month in terms of performance for stocks going up. February was just a month that was just netting out what we've gained in the month of January. However, March is a new month here, and I believe that we're beginning to see a continuous bullish signal where S&P and Dow Jones, I'm forecasting S&P is going to get back up to its prior resistance at like 4,200, and who knows, it may get beyond that. And what would that mean? Companies like in the technology sector, in the electric vehicle, solar space companies will do well. And today I wanted to share with you my rationale for why I believe Lucid stock, ticker LCID, an electric vehicle company that's based out in the Bay Area, is going to have significant bullish runs in this year. Now, most of you are wondering what's the case with Lucid, right? Based on the most recent financial data, it's looking very bad. However, if you put aside just the financials with the understanding that Lucid is a new sort of company that's in the development phase, in fact, it does have electric vehicles out in the market where you see Lucid vehicles out in the streets. Most are questioning its production. Will people continue to have the interest in these vehicles? The good thing is that not only is Lucid focusing on having new pipeline in production, such as the Lucid Air, but also the company foresees having SUVs coming out as well. So to combat against the top competitors like Tesla, I believe Lucid has the potential to make huge runs. Now let's dive deep in the actual information here. So today, Lucid did pretty well, right? I mean, it ran close to about 5% gain, hovering close to the threshold of $9. We know that in January, the ticker stock price went up to about $12, consolidated around $12. And just looking at the 1 month range, it dropped by about 25%. Right? Is this a good opportunity to buy? I'd say definitely. Let's say if you bought in at a higher price, if we zoom out here, if you bought in at the range of the high 30s, now's an opportunity to dollar cost average down. And I believe that, looking at it in hindsight here, back in 2021, we've seen Lucid ramp all the way up to like $50+. I believe that there's going to be a positive correlation. Once the economy picks up, companies like Lucid is going to gain so much in value, and we'll see companies like ChargePoint also grow in value. With ChargePoint, looking at the price right now, it's at $11. We know at one point it ramped up significantly when there's just so much talks about EV. I know EV is going to be the future, and now is the opportunity to gain on the proceeds. From a technical standpoint, in terms of relative strength index, we've seen this be oversold here. But if you were to draw a trend line for the support levels at the bottom here at like 636, 745, and 879, you're beginning to see this positive slope, and I foresee that to come with Lucid. I also wanted to deep dive and share with you some interesting bullish articles that was just announced in the month of March. Now, Lucid plans to sell more cars. We know that, right? One of the main initiatives from the CEO is to ramp up sales, to improve on revenue, right? And to increase the production throughput, and also to have the marketing to allow for Lucid story branding to build the awareness and getting the vehicles into customer hands by increasing the demand. Well, you would want to increase the demand as well as having the supply to do so. Although we've seen just bad financial data, right? We know that Lucid gained 608 million in 2022, but had a net loss liability of 1.3 billion. We understand that, and we can't really compare apples to orange. But if you look at when Tesla at one point was in the growing phase, Tesla took a big loss as well. So if you look at it from a long-term stretch, profitability, margins will improve in a long-term course. There's just going to be cash flow burn rate that's expected for companies like Lucid, and I believe that the CEO has experience and the drive to really get this company in the right direction to ramp up sales, increase demand, and really get the story out there. Now, Lucid's solution, right? We know that there's no excuse with supply chain being a problem, although that's what was discussed about. However, just looking at it in the future, Lucid, I believe, will eventually ramp up, and they will also tap into the different markets, right? In the European markets, in the Asia markets, as well as getting the SUV introduced. And as you can see here, this is the Lucid AMP2 factory in Saudi Arabia, which will assemble knockdown car kits before moving to full production. So there's just a global scale initiative that's coming for Lucid, and I believe that most people who say Lucid's going to go out of business, that's just false information from my perspective. I wanted to share with you another interesting article in that Lucid will develop battery modules for the Department of Defense to test towards the electrification of military platforms. This is huge, right? Because Lucid's contract with Canoo with developing batteries to standardize across a range of military applications. This shows that Lucid can add value not only with EVs, but also focusing in with its core technology, proprietary technology specific to the battery, one of its cornerstones of its record-breaking range to provide highest throughput in terms of mileage distance, right? We know that Lucid, the developers initially came from Tesla, so that just shows that there's bits and pieces that's known from that technology at Tesla and then incorporating it into Lucid. So in terms of light years speed, Lucid is catching up quickly to Tesla, even though we know that Tesla is far in advance currently in terms of financials, throughput, and just the maturity of the company. But this is very interesting in that Lucid is tasked with developing a version of its high voltage battery systems specifically for EV tactical military vehicles. Great news there. Last article I wanted to share with you is that Lucid Motors opens first retail studio in Oslo, Norway, and also adds another managing director for Europe. And here's a picture of the studio here. And then Norway, this will open up to the public come March 4th. So this is going to be very interesting, right? This is how you get the branding of Lucid out, and especially given the fact that this is the fourth studio that's now in place in Europe. This is showing that Lucid is becoming more of a global company. And I just wanted to share with you here, we are delighted to open this brand new studio in Oslo, Norway, a country at the forefront of electric vehicle adoption and charging infrastructure. We are confident that the Norwegian customers will appreciate the exceptional range, unique design, incredible interior space, and benchmark charging times that the Lucid airline up has to offer. So very exciting news here, right? And I've actually been to Lucid Studio. There's a studio in the Bay Area Mall, and there's just lots of customers just excited about learning more about the company. Now, this is good news here, and we know that Lucid isn't stopping there, and that Lucid is also expanding into the Asian markets. You look at like South Korea, there's going to be a market there for luxury vehicles, specifically those who don't want like a Tesla, but want more of that luxury vehicle. So Lucid's aim is to tap more into the niche market where the consumers want this high-end, high performance type of vehicles. And Lucid, has produced motors specific for Formula One. So in terms of quality, they're delivering extraordinary quality, and I believe that Lucid Motors, in terms of the share price right now, it's definitely underpriced, discounted. And come first half of the year 2023, I do foresee Lucid breaking beyond the $20 range, and I'm forecasting by end of the year, heading into 2024, we can potentially see it ramp up, whether that's going to be 3 to 7x, right? That's all possible from my perspective. So I wanted to give you my insights with Lucid. This is looking solid. Institutional investors are buying in right now as well. So if you follow what institutions are doing, you're on the right track to make huge money with Lucid. So that's also why I invested in this company, and I'd love to hear your comments and questions down below. Thanks for stopping by. Let's make money on Lucid. Thank you, guys.